الحمد لله رب العالمين.
The wind here doesn't just move through the land, it attacks it. Mongolia feels empty, not quiet, empty. No traffic, no crowds, no city noise, just endless land under a heavy sky. And in this silence, people still pray. Far from big mosques and loud cities, a small Muslim community is trying to survive in one of the most isolated places on earth. Most people don't even know they exist. Mongolia is one of the least populated countries in the world. Vast land, freezing winters, villages separated by hours of distance. And in one corner of this frozen land, Islam still survives. Not loudly, not publicly, but quietly inside homes and hearts. It came here centuries ago through Silk Road traders from places like Bukhara and Samarkand. Some stayed, some never left. Today, most Muslims here are Kazakhs living in Western Mongolia, a minority inside a minority. And here, life teaches one rule: if you want to survive, you don't stand out. So faith became quiet, not gone, just hidden. Horses move far in the distance like small shadows. Small villages sit many miles apart. Between them is just land, wind, and snow. Life here is not easy. Here, people first think about survival, food, warmth, shelter. Only then, faith. Islam did not start here. It came a long time ago. Through old trade roads called the Silk Road, Muslim travelers came with horses, silk, and stories. Some stayed. Some married local people. And slowly, a small light of faith began in this cold land. It came through Silk Road traders from Bukhara and Samarkand. Some stayed, married local people, and slowly, Islam took root in this cold land. These travelers brought more than just silk. They brought a map for the soul that had no borders. They settled in the shadows of the Altai, becoming a tiny island of belief in a vast nomadic sea. But Islam here never became big or loud. It stayed small, very small. Most Muslims here are Kazakhs who live in Western Mongolia. They are a minority inside a minority. Not many people know them, not many people see them. And over time, something changed. Faith became quiet, not because it disappeared, but because it had to survive. History was not always kind. Life in this land has always been hard. So people learned something very important. If you want to survive, you must not stand out. So they became careful, very careful. Prayers moved inside homes. Faith moved into hearts. Mosques were not many. The call to prayer was not loud in the streets. Most days, there was only silence. And in that silence, faith still lived. In small rooms, in soft voices, in memories passed from parents to children. This is the invisible life, a life where belief is not shown to the world, but carried inside the heart. And now, think about this. If your faith had to stay quiet to protect your life, would it become stronger inside you or slowly fade away? Write your answer in the comments and tell me your city and country too. I love to know. In this cold land, faith is not only about belief, it is about daily life. It is about how you survive every single day. Meet a man named Erlon. He is not famous or special, just a man living in Western Mongolia. Just a simple man living in Western Mongolia where the wind never stops and the land never ends. Erlon wakes up before sunrise, but even before he opens his eyes fully, he already feels the cold. It is inside the room. His small wooden home is quiet, no sound, only wind outside and slow breathing inside. Another day begins. Not easy, but needed. Erlon works in open land, far away fields, animals, simple farming life. The land is wide, but help is far. Everything takes time, everything takes effort, and in the middle of all this, he still has to remember his faith. There is a mosque in the region, but it is not close, not something you can visit every day. So most prayers happen at home, in a small room, on a simple mat. There is no loud call to prayer in the streets, no reminder from outside, only memory, only habit, only the heart. Food is also not easy. Halal food is not clearly marked here. There are no big Islamic stores, so Erlon must be careful. He eats simple food, mostly what he raises or what he trusts from his community. In a land where meat is the only way to survive the winter, Erlon must be his own witness. There are no stamps of approval here, no specialized markets, only the sharp knife, the prayer whispered over the animal in the freezing wind, and the integrity of a neighbor. Here, faith is literally carved by hand. Not because he wants less, but because he wants what is right. Then comes Friday, a special day. But it's not always easy here. The mosque is small. Some people cannot come because they are far away or busy. So the gathering is small, quiet, almost like a whisper instead of a crowd. And Erlon feels it sometimes, a soft feeling inside, like something is missing. Then comes Ramadan, the hardest time. The sun stays longer. The body feels weak. Work still continues. No break. No pause. Only hunger and patience. Some days are easy. Some days are very hard. But he still fasts, because stopping feels heavier than continuing. And in all of this life, a question slowly comes again and again inside his mind. Am I doing enough? But every time he stands for prayer, even if it is short, even if it is quiet, he finds his answer without words. Because here, faith is not loud. It is not shown. It is carried, like something precious, like something alive. And every day, Erlon carries it again. In this quiet land, faith does not disappear. It changes its shape. It becomes smaller, quieter, but it stays alive. In many homes across Mongolia, faith now lives inside simple moments. A small corner becomes a place of prayer. A clean mat on the floor becomes a sacred space. A short silence before the day begins becomes a connection with God. Not because there are no mosques, but because the distance is too far. Life is too spread out. So the home becomes everything. The mosque of the heart. This is the reality of the hidden spaces. It is a life where safety is often bought with silence, and identity is treated like a treasure kept under lock and key. It is a life where safety often comes with silence, and identity is kept hidden. But you are discouraged from being seen. Technology has also entered this silent world. A phone screen lights up in the dark morning. An app shows prayer times. A soft audio of the adhan plays from faraway cities. It is not the same as a real voice in the streets, but it helps. It reminds. It keeps faith moving. Parents also become teachers, not in big schools, not in large classes, but in small moments. A verse before sleep, a story during dinner, a quiet lesson passed from father to child. Slowly, carefully, faith continues to move forward. But something new is happening too. The young generation is watching the world differently. They see phones. They see other countries. They see Muslims praying openly in large communities. And inside them, questions begin. Why is our faith so quiet? Why do we stay hidden? Why must everything be so silent? The elders understand silence as safety. They remember a time when being too visible was risky, so they chose caution. But the young feel something different. They feel distant. They feel isolated. They feel like they are unseen. This creates a silent gap between generations. One side protects the silence. The other side wants to break it. And yet, faith still continues between them. Because in the end, it is not about noise. It is not about size. It is not about being seen by everyone. It is about intention. A prayer made in a quiet room, a fast kept without anyone watching, a heart that still remembers God even when the world is silent. This is how faith survives here. Not through power, not through attention, but through consistency. Through small actions repeated every day, through hearts that refuse to forget. So even in the cold wind of the steppe, even in the silence of far lands, faith continues to breathe. And if this story made you think, then stay with us. Subscribe to the Crescent Files, because some stories don't need to be loud to matter, but they deserve to be heard.